In order to use JavaScript to make changes to your document object model, you need to find a way to select the different elements in your page. So what JavaScript understands is a method by which you drill down through the hierarchy. The first object is the window. The window is the browser window. Within the window, you have the document. Once you reach the document, then you can select the individual elements on the page. So I am in the section Document Object Model here, and if you scroll down through this, there's a section for the selectors. There are 5 different selectors that we can use to access the individual elements on your page. I'm going to talk about the most common one and the easiest to use. This is the document.getElementById. The document.getElementById method will go out to the DOM and find the element with the ID that you specify here inside the parentheses. So the way JavaScript understands this is as a drill down of the hierarchy. At the outermost level is the window. The window is the browser window. Notice that I don't have window here in this statement. That's because window is understood. The next object is the document. So you'll see document and then dot in front of all of these, right? So the object you're working with is the document. Then the next thing is to get the element by the ID that you will specify. It is extremely important that you have this exactly correct. Oftentimes people will capitalize the D in here. Don't do that. That's incorrect and you will get an error. So I'm going to take you over to some sample code, and notice that it's just a very basic HTML page. In the body, I've created 3 elements so that we have something to work with. Each of these 3 elements has their own ID. Inside the script tag, I have some comments here, but take a look at my line 14. Line 14 says document.getElementById, and here's the ID in quotation marks, in parentheses, my H1. So it's going to go find this element. Now, you can make modifications to anything about this element. In this particular example, I'm changing the CSS. So notice the dot notation here, right? So dot notation is document first, then the element, now change the style, and now specify the property. So use the property name exactly, in this case color, and what is the value that you're changing? I'm changing the color to red. So the default being black. Notice that also that the red is in quotation marks. You can also use the RGB values. You can use the hex values. Anything you do in CSS, you can now specify here in your JavaScript. Take a look at this next one here. Document.getElementById. Here's my H2. So I grabbed this element. Now I'm going to change something about it. I'm changing the inner HTML. And if you take a look at the text, your book, it explains the inner HTML very well. But the inner HTML allows you to change the content, right, the text content here. It also allows you to insert children to this if you want, to this element. And then finally, this last example, my image. Notice here I'm changing an attribute. Right, so just like in the A tag where you could change an href value, I am changing the source. So the source, instead of image.jpeg, I'm doing image.jpg. And this will specify a different file. So when you run this, so you'll see the red color change here in this text, and then the text change here.